Hello. This is I Am What I Am podcast, video cast, whatever cast you want to do it. How you want to do. Yeah, very first one. It's going to be with my good friend James. For legal reasons, James is the name. Hopefully you enjoy the content that's going to come out. It will be great. But yeah, we shall call him now.
And there's a noise.
Yeah.
And I didn't get much sleep last night, and I've got a bit of sciatica, which I've taken painkillers for. Anyway, so yeah, how's my day? I've had better days.
Very good.
But I didn't want to put you off again and again and again and again, because that would just get boring.
Oh no, that's all good. Like, I'd rather people be, I guess, in a good headset or good headspace, rather than just trying to force out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just trying to force themselves to talk when all they want to do is just chill and be there on their own or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, even if we do it in two parts, like if I get kind of or you get tired, we can kind of pause and do a part two later on, because those questions were quite what's the right word? They were quite comprehensive.
Yeah.
So, and the whole idea of podcasts is for it to be a long format interview, isn't it? So it's not something that's done in 5 minutes. It's more like 50 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. It can take it however long you want, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to be completely honest, right?
As honest as you want to be,
And you don't want me to self-censor, right?
No, be open as much as you can. If you need time to.
No. I can be extremely open.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But also
so long as I'm not.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. So long as I'm not identifiable in any way, then I'm happy to be completely honest.
Yeah. No. I've already mentioned that at the start of the video. I've done the start of the video before I called you.
All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if it at any time you feel triggered, you can just take a.
Oh yeah, all of it.
Yeah, you can take a
all of it.
A breather.
Take. Yeah. Do you have software that you can edit the audio?
I can get some downloaded.
Yeah, you probably need to.
Just to make it a bit user friendly. But yeah.
I was watching a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. I was watching a movie, and it was all about a woman who was doing a podcast, like an investigative journalist podcast type thing.
Yeah.
And she was the only character in the entire movie, so it was her interviewing people over the phone. She had the microphone, the fancy microphone that all podcasters have.
Yeah.
But there was quite a bit of screen time of her editing the audio and pulling it in tightly as she was building her podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So so there are definitely software that you can get to kind of tighten and make it sound more professional.
Yeah. This is the first episode, so it'll be as good as it can be. I'll try and invest in some microphone. Jason, he brought one of those little wireless microphones, the DJI, and it's at his job at the moment, so I can't really. And I'll probably use that if I do a face-to-face type of interview type of thing, rather than like just using it for my voice. But like, yeah, I'm just recording off my camera, my face. So yeah, just to keep privacy and all that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. At the moment, my cat's just walking around the house, being a menace.
What's her name? Kimochi?
Kimochi. Half kimchi, half mochi. Or if you put it like, it means good vibe. She is a good vibe most of the time. She,
How old is she now?
almost a year old. She's 9 months.
Oh, nice.
She's 9 months and
still a
she's
kid.
massive, so. And she's a short-haired. She's one of those.
She's a tortoiseshell, isn't she?
No, she's white and she's like tiger stripe grey.
Okay.
Yeah. I got her from a friend of mine from work. He was giving away some kittens, and I was like, I'll take one. I'll take whatever's left, and then
Yeah.
there were two left.
You like your pussycats.
Yeah. But yeah, she eats too much, so I've told Jason to like, no, whenever she's finished, just fill it up to, so the bottom of the bowl isn't, like, fully open, so the bowl's not fully, full.
Are you feeding her wet food and dry food?
Dry food during the day, and then wet food for dinner.
So she's having 2 meals a day, or?
She just snacks throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll be fine. She's still growing, so.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, she just whenever she feels hungry, she'll just snack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, nah, like, 'cause it's just making her belly like humongous. So. Yeah. Should we start on some of these questions?
I think we should. Was there an order, or are you just gonna?
I'm just gonna ask any. The first one is if you want to start your story off, that would be just so like yeah. If that's all good with you, I have.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just start talking?
Here's a question for you though. Then, what experience, negative or positive, that you have had to overcome when you came out? What was like one of those experiences of yours?
Sure. Well, just kind of for some context, I am 55 now, and I've always known that I'm gay.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I heard the word homosexual, I was about 7, and it was on a television show on a Sunday night in New Zealand. Every Sunday there would be these kind of made for family type shows, and each week there would be a social issue dealt with.
Yeah.
Like, and so, families would sit around and watch this made-for-TV kind of movie about a particular issue that might affect people. And there was a show on that was about a gay man or a man leaving his wife and going to be with another man.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were watching that, and I was like 7, and I got really upset and kind of ran to my room and kind of cried. And Mum followed after me and said, "Why are you upset?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, that word is me. That word is what I am." And she said, "Oh, you're way too young to understand what that. Don't talk nonsense. Don't get upset because you don't really know what that word means.
Yeah.
But I did. So I've always known that I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I decided, because I came from a very typical kind of Kiwi family where my dad was kind of like a man's man, and mum was, devoted to him, and there were three kids, and so I decided that they wouldn't be able to cope with me being an out gay man. So when I was going through my teens, I made the concerted decision that I wouldn't come out, I wouldn't tell them.
Yeah.
The best plans of mice and men, often go awry. So when I was about 18 or 19, my desk in my room, which had been in the same position for my whole life, I was minding a friend's house, and Mum decided to spring clean my room, and she moved my desk, and she found all of this kind of personal material hidden under the desk, under a kind of a false bottom. So she found the kinds of stuff that you wouldn't want your mum to see.
Yeah.
So like magazines and videotapes and God knows what. And my parents reacted quite strongly to that, and in the way that I'd feared that they would react. So I was kind of locked out of home and homeless for, I don't know, it was about 10 days. And then I was working a part-time job, and my father called me at that job and said, "Son, come home for Christmas." So, and it was never discussed. Well, the subject matter was not discussed for quite some months. Until they couldn't stand it anymore, when we sort of had a massive discussion about what they'd found and what that meant and what I was.
Alright. So that's like, in a way, it sounded like the experience would have been, in your eyes, kind of bad, but you ended up talking about it, and they probably understood you more in saying it.
Mum had I never met this person. Mum had a part-time job herself. And there was a lesbian lady who was one of Mum's colleagues and friends at this job. And Mum raised, I don't even know what this woman's name is, but raised with this woman, "Oh, my son is gay." And the woman just sort of said to Mum, "What does it matter? Do you still love him? And do you want him to be happy and to feel loved?" And Mum thought about that. Did what I did in my bedroom, and my own private bedroom, did that impact how much she loved me, how much my father loved me? No, it didn't. Did they want me to feel loved and accepted? Yes, they did. And so that random stranger, well, stranger to me at least, really helped my parents kind of process the reality of what it meant for their son to be gay. And my parents really, really tried very, very hard for a long period of time, and every time I had a partner, they were incredibly accepting, and my whole family were incredibly accepting and loving and very, very supportive. But it took some time.
As everything does, really.
Yeah.
You learn how to kind of accept yourself and how everybody else is going to accept you, or try to accept you, I guess. It's taken me... I think it's taken me a while to, accept the fact that not everybody has will see me as, some people, they still see me as, straight, so... I'm like,
Do you remember when we first met and I said, are you gay or bi or straight or whatever? And you were like, "Oh, I'm bi. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right."
I think at that point I was a little confused on what I actually wanted. And then, I guess, I I think hooking up with my first person was like, oh yeah, I know I'm gay now, so. And then I think like me liking females kind of stopped after that, or kind
Yeah.
of like just started
The
getting.
the floodgate was open.
Yeah, I was like, I don't like women no more. I like women as like friends and stuff, but like, will I ever, try and date one? Probably not. Never. Like, yeah, there's just like nothing there for me with women, rather than me with men. So, and now, yeah, I've been together with Jason for 4 years. So, this year.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when you first met.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's been good.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. I'm just trying to think of another question. Okay then. What what have you like picked up from like dealing with the older generation to like now? Like what's some
Say again?
I'm trying to like what they have or you have. What have you picked up from dealing with the younger or older generation in regards to like being gay and all that stuff?
Well, I am part of the older generation now, so yeah.
I mean, like growing up from the time you came out to right now.
I was really fortunate in so far as after I moved from New Zealand to Sydney, my first job was in a very gay-friendly environment. In fact, so it was working in HIV, and everybody except for 2 people in the space that I worked in, so like 60 or 70 people, every single one of them was gay. So I was in a very safe kind of environment.
Yeah.
There, I was very, very. I was kind of spoiled actually.
Yeah.
as a first kind of job.
I feel like there's not enough industries that like are just majority of them are gay.
Well, this was working in the community for the community, so that's why it was populated by so many gay people. But what that gave me, like, I could see gay people, gay men, gay women, of various different professions and ages, and so I could kind of see what, as a young man, kind of see what worked professionally and what worked personally, and what didn't sort of work out for me or work out for them from what I could observe. So, and I was also, because I was so young, I was also kind of mentored by a lot of older, experienced gay men, which was again really to my benefit as well. What did I learn from them?
With that,
just kind of.
Did they teach you how to, I guess, act like a gay man, or was it just like?
Because I was like in the work environment and where I lived, I was in like in inverted commas, a gay suburb. I was completely immersed. So my dentist was gay. My like everybody in my work was gay.
Yeah.
My doctor was gay. The only person who wasn't gay, funnily enough, was my hairdresser. Which you would think, okay, everybody's he's surrounded by gay people. He's going to have a gay hairdresser, but I didn't. I had this really cool straight hairdresser. He was the only exception. Like the people that sold you, fruit.
Yeah,
That worked in a great, like when you were walking up and down the street, everybody in the bars, blah, 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 everybody was gay, but so I was just kind of cocooned, if you like, and that was why I moved country. That was why I left my home and my family, was to be an out gay man. So what did I learn? I kind of just learned that I could be myself, and I didn't really have to kind of fixate on it. I didn't have to fixate on it because I was surrounded by it. I think now if I think about the younger generation now, and there's probably two generations. By definition, a generation is 15, 20 years. So there's kind of the very young gays, and then there's the gays that are in their 30s and 40s that are, so there's kind of two generations beneath me. I think that there's a lot more acceptance for being gay these days, and there's a lot more language, a lot more fluidity, a lot more acceptance. Having said that, just in the last year, from what I've seen in the news and on all my socials, I think that we're at a bit of a pivot point where it's no longer as safe to be out and gay as it was in recent years, and that's all coming from the US, and that's kind of a different discussion about where politics, are sort of global politics, are kind of heading. And you and I, Conrad, discussed just the other day about that Pride March in Auckland and the footage of the Destiny Church Maori boys doing the haka and kind of fuck youing the for want of a better phrase, fuck youing the Pride Parade. I think there's more acceptance of that kind of anti-gay and frankly bullying behaviour. So my point is that the pendulum is kind of swinging, I think, away from where it's been in the last couple of years, and we just need to all be vigilant and mindful of that as we move into the future.
I think Jason did a Pride walk with his work at the hotels, and he pretty much said, like, we just need to keep being proud, like, even if there's, like, say, Destiny's Church hating on, like, gay men and the prides and the pride parades and, like, bombarding drag storytelling at local libraries and stuff like that. It's like, we still need to keep fighting, I feel, for a little spot in society, like that little spot.
You've just brought up two points that, though, even the word pride has been attacked in recent years. So that word has been singled out by people like Jordan Peterson, who've said pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, and that shouldn't be something to be proud. So we're being attacked even in our own language. There's now groups. There's groups that I follow just because I like to kind of understand different thinking on different points. There's groups like Gays Against Groomers. That's kind of quite a big group, which is very anti the drag shows in the drag. What's that called? The drag reading libraries, whatever that. So, like, there's my point is the pendulum. Jason's right. We need to be vigilant and kind of be visible. I think it's important to be visible, but I predict then it's going to be a bit of an uphill. It's not going to be as easy as it has been in the last couple of years, moving forward into the next couple of years.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, like even me commenting on like stupid people's comments on like those videos with Destiny's Church. There's like a lot of hate against like anybody that has an opinion. So even myself, I was like, I thought I got singled out, but then there were like people jumping in saying like, Destiny's Church is like full of pedophiles and all that stuff. And I was like,
It is.
True. And then they're like, but like, also Destiny's Church, they try like, they say, don't intimidate and all that stuff. Don't intimidate people, treat them as equal and all that stuff. And then going into, say, a library or shouting profanity out at like people just being like a man holding hands with a man. They get shouted at every corner of the street. Or a woman liking a woman holding hands with her. And it's like,
yep.
Yeah, people are still shouting out like random shit like that. I'm like, bro. Like just in my head, I'm just like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, just mind your business. Like, we're not hurting.
People have stopped minding their own business, and I'm on social media quite a lot, far too much. There's kind of a bit of a rallying cry that started out with the phrase "bring back bullying." So somebody who might look different or might act different or be different to the norm puts up something on social media, and then people actively encourage bullying against how they look or what they say or what they think and feel. So I think the floodgates are starting to open up for people to be nasty and hateful.
Yeah.
And that's quite ugly.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame that people still bullying or still think that bullying is like the right way to go about things and all that.
Yeah. Well, you know that anybody can say anything to anybody, anywhere, anytime these days, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Nah, but like somebody kind of took me off, and they're like, they said something, I said something back to them, and they're like, "Oh, come on, man, that was weak." So I was like, "All right then." So I just. As a joke, I just called his mum. I was like, "Your mum's a cum dump, and she kisses you every night on the lips," type of thing. And he's like, "What?" And I was like, and then he said something else, and he's like, "Wow, there you go, there he is." And I was like, "Oh well, what? I thought you ran away." But mate, you kind of like the taste of what men like. Kind of like the taste of men from kissing your mummy on the lips, and he's like, "You make no sense." And I was like, neither do you.
That makes perfect sense. That's quite funny.
Yeah, so I was just like, it's kind of fun, like, pissing off straighties and pissing off Jesus followers, like Destiny's Church members and all that stuff. It's always funny trying to piss them off because...
Well, they're not real Christians. I mean, real Christians wouldn't behave like that. They're members of a cult.
Yeah.
Not a very nice cult.
I work with a few of them, a few Destiny's Church members, but they're like all good. They don't care about my like sexual orientation and all that stuff. So I'm like,
they will. They just won't say it to your face.
Yeah, but I'm just like, like if you got something to say about me at work, all good. Like,
so
we'll go toe to toe.
The really interesting thing. So, in my career, for reasons that were pretty gay related, because I was exposed to a lot of homophobia in a country that I lived in for a long time, I actually went back into the closet for about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And pretending to be heterosexual means that you get to hear what heterosexuals think about homosexuals.
Yeah.
And every single person I worked with in a management team level had something hateful to say about gays,
Mm-hmm.
in the most inappropriate, like every single one of them, would say these random, strange, peculiar things about gay people. They just find us really, really fascinating. I think it's because they're a little bit obsessed with sex. Maybe they're not having enough themselves, or they're having really boring sex or something. But there was only one or two exceptions. But like 14 or 15 of them would say the most hateful things because they thought that it was safe to say to me.
Yeah.
So that was, over the course of some years. So that was kind of interesting, being a bit of a gay spy, if you like. But yeah, heterosexuals are fascinated by anything that's not like them.
Yeah, I get a bit of flack at work. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, you're eating the sausage. I bet you like that." And it's like, bro, I saw you eating the sausage just before. So, and they're usually from. I'm the one out of only. There's another gender. What's the word? Like, she doesn't.
Fluid?
I think that's the word.
Non-binary?
So she has a female partner. Her partner's straight.
Right.
I don't get that, but like, yeah, she doesn't mind being called bro or she's a man type of thing. Like,
okay,
yeah, she's all female, top to bottom.
And her partner's all female, but identifies as being straight.
Yeah, but yeah, like anybody can call her like, "Hey, bro, how are you?" And she's like, "I don't mind it when people call me bro." I was like, I still come to terms with. I still have to come to terms with that because, like, yeah, it's like, are you either lesbian or? But then, yeah, just got to remember that there are fluidity within like genders. Like, some males can identify as being a female.
Spectrum. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people can identify as being something else. So I'm like, do you, man? Do you? Like, as long as, yeah, you stick to whatever. I don't know. Yeah. How are you feeling at this moment? Like, still wanna...
Good. Yeah, absolutely. We've been chatting for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going?
Yep. How long did it take you to find your first, like, relationship?
Well, that's a good question. So I came to Sydney to be a professional gay man.
Yeah.
Because there just weren't any prospects in the small town that I grew up in. So let's see. The first love of my life, I was 22. So 3 years.
Oh,
and there were
cool.
Lots of near misses,
Yeah.
lots and lots of near misses, and lots of kind of 3 months or 5 months or 3 weeks or 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've been blessed that I have fallen in love and had life partners 3 times in my life, and the first one I was 22.
How long did that one last? Like,
That lasted nearly 3 years.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good start off.
It was. He was the love of my life, actually, to be honest.
And then you would have moved over to another country and then found other life partners.
No.
Or were they all in the same?
No. So that was so he was Australian, and then that kind of fell apart for reasons that I could go into, but
Yeah.
that kind of fell apart. And then probably a bit too soon after that, like it was only 9 months after the end of that relationship, I met my next partner, who was German, and that lasted a long time, like 15 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, there was Mr. 9.5 years. So if you add all of that up, I've been in life partnerships for about 26 years.
Jeez.
Half my life.
Yeah. And that's not even like, I don't even equate to that. Like, I mean, this is my longest relationship with like
at 4
anybody.
years.
So yeah.
So I had my role models. My parents were devoted to each other.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, well, that's what love is, and that's what a relationship is meant to be like. So that's kind of always what I've strived to seek.
Yeah, I think my
Monogamous and devoted and all of that stuff.
so like they weren't swingers. They never swung.
No. I think mum was with they were they were virgins, and they were together for 50 years. So until my dad died. So yeah, kind of classic 1950s.
I think that was the way to do it back in the day. It's just stay.
Yep.
Just stay
Yep.
and then be as happy as you can be.
Exactly, and it worked for them, and it kind of worked for me for periods of time.
Yeah.
Until it didn't.
Yeah. My whole body's kind of sore. I went to the gym today, so.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
How often are you going?
3 days a week. But
That's enough.
yeah, like I think when I was living with you, I was going every second day. So it'll be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Because like that's when my work was kind of okay. But now since I only do like 4 days a week at work, yeah, I just go on my days off because it's more easier for me to just like smash it out in 3 days rather than using. I could do my first PM shift and go to the gym during the day just to keep myself busy. But
Are they 12-hour shifts as well?
yeah, so yeah, it's 2
that's
12.
long.
Yeah, and on my
That's
first
long.
PM, I just want to like relax.
And don't blame you.
Yeah, the first 2 AMs are like usually the hardest because it's like I wake up at 5-ish and then I'm like 35 minutes drive from work, so I have to be on the road before like the traffic hits, and then yeah, gotta stay there till 7 o'clock that day or that night. And then drive back, which is another 35 to 40 minutes. So it's a little annoying, I would say.
And you live in a big city, that's kind of the way it works.
Yeah. What part of Sydney do you live in? Like, is it... You're like over the bridge, eh?
I am. Yep.
What's
I didn't want to do the gay ghetto thing again.
Yeah.
Because I've done that for 20 years, the last time I lived here, so I'm over the north side.
Wait, where's it? Gay Ghetto's what? Oxford Street?
Yeah,
Oxford
Oxford
Terrace.
Street,
Whatever.
Darlinghurst, Surrey Hills. But it's changed here now. It's also moved into the inner west, so suburbs like Erskineville and Marrickville and Newtown, and yeah, it's kind of spread out.
Yeah. There was like a event this week? Was it in the weekend or last week?
There was Fair Day on Sunday. I did not go.
What's that? Is that just like a bunch of...
it's massive. It's well, I haven't been to one for 20 years, but and the one last year was cancelled at the last minute. I was going to go, but I didn't. So it's like a day event. It starts at about 10, and I think it finishes at about 6.
Mm.
So it's community stuff. I'm just kind of guessing some of the stuff. It's like dog shows and Barbies and different community outreach booths and things, but it's massive. It's thousands and thousands of people. I want to say 20,000 people. I could be wrong. It might be 30. It could be 50. It might be 10. But it's thousands and thousands of people. So it's kind of like the gay scene goes daytime.
Yeah. We had Pride Parade, and then I think next month they have Rainbow Dog Day with called Wolf with WOOF.
Wolf, okay.
Yeah, and they do like their little dog parade, like dress your dog up in the most cutest outfit ever, blah blah blah,
Yep.
and then you can win.
That sounds like Fair Day a little bit.
You can win prizes for your dog or yourself for the best dressed or and it's like just a day where it's all about dogs and humans.
But the thing with the Fair Day is that it's also catered to so like all members and allies of the community. So there's lots of things for kids to do as well, because lots of gay people have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like it's kid friendly and that sort of thing as well. I should have gone, but I didn't.
With that kid thing.
I did do something kind of a little bit gay recently, which is yesterday.
Yeah.
I went to see a movie called Queer. Have you heard about that? Is that in New Zealand yet?
I don't know. Not that I know of. Is it? It would be.
Okay. It probably will be. It's got Daniel Craig in it. Like James Bond.
Yeah. I think I've heard of it, but
yeah, it's a movie about it's based on a book by a guy called William S. Burroughs.
Yeah.
Who was a prolific writer in the 50s and a bit of the 60s, and he also wrote into the 80s from memory. But he was how can I put this? He was a prolific writer. He came from a very wealthy family and he's very intelligent. But he kind of discovered drugs in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And developed a number of drug habits.
Uh-huh.
And the more into drugs he got, the more into boys he got.
Yeah.
So this book is about his gay phase when he was living in Mexico City in the 50s. So it's quite a confronting film because it's all about, a group of gay men who are mostly American and are kind of having sex with Mexican guys in Mexico City. So it's quite kind of, it's interesting to see people used to live.
Yeah.
Plus there's quite an enormous amount of drug taking in the movie as well, which is a bit confronting. But yeah, so there is a gay movie that's hitting the cinemas globally, and it's just started in Australia.
Yeah, I think the last gay movie I watched was From the Sideline. It's like a rugby movie with like in the UK, based in the UK, and it's like the gay
on the sideline.
Yeah. It's
remember you told me to watch Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, that's like my favorite.
Which I really loved. Yeah, that's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I've watched it 4 times.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't go off Netflix, so I just watch it whenever.
Is it still on Netflix?
Yeah, last time I checked. Yep.
I might give it another watch myself. Watch it for a second time.
Yeah, but like Yeah, and from the sideline or whatever the movie is. That's a good movie, but it's like it shows the open relationship side of gay
All right.
relationships and stuff like that. And yeah, I think they try to do the hook up without getting caught, and then one partner finds out, and then the other
Yeah.
partner finds out for a party, and then it all goes downhill from there. So I'm like, I watched it and I was like, this is a good movie. It's like sweet, but then it's also like that's what happens. That's what you get if you're like lying to your partner instead of like being all upfront. But yeah,
Exactly.
I'm not. Well, me and Jason aren't in a open relationship, so we're still monogamous, which is going good.
Good. And
Yeah.
in my humble opinion, that will set it up for success rather than setting it up for failure. But I'm just kind of old-fashioned like that.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at the number of men that are in open relationships on all of the apps. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna.
on my profile,
Huh?
on my profile it says, I'm not interested in anybody who's attached in any way.
Yeah.
But so that kind of is clear messaging for me.
Yeah. From that, I was gonna ask what is your red flag or ick about dating apps?
Oh God. Well,
Or while we're dealing
Uh,
with the
I-
dating app.
I have significant ick with Grinder. I've deleted that app for a couple of years now. It was too disposable. Is the I think a word like
Yeah.
just
It's a
to
hookup, and then you just
NSA,
yeah.
and that's quite soul destroying. I've had sex with far too many people over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just have casual sex.
You want to have a meaningful time rather than just
Exactly.
like
Connection.
yeah. Instead of
Rather than just
bang bang.
random hookups. There's a word for that, which I discovered a couple of years ago. So demisexual, I think, is the best description of me. I've got to have some sort of emotional contact. Like if you put me in a beat or in a gay sauna, I would run screaming. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah. I've never been to one. I've been to like
a beat or a gay sauna.
yeah, I haven't been to a gay sauna, but there was a spot in Christchurch down I think it's not Alston. Just going into Phillipstown, and it was like they had rooms where you could watch movies. There was a den.
It's a gay sauna.
Without this, yeah, it was a gay sauna without the sauna. So
no, there's I know the owners. There's a sauna there.
true. Okay, yeah, but yeah, that yeah. If the person that you're hooking up was like too down low, they were just like, let's go to here. I'm like, all right. And yeah, I think the second time I moved to Christchurch, I tried it out, and then I was like, yeah, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, it's a bit too.
Because it's too open. It's like people can walk in and just. You could be by yourself, and then you can just join in, or like they'll ask you if you want to join in, and it's like, but
no.
Yeah.
I when I was working in HIV, I worked in a study, and I went to 3 saunas here in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
One of them doesn't exist. 2 of them don't exist anymore. There were 3 really big saunas, and I walked around with my tracksuit bottoms and a singlet on and my clipboard, asking all of these men to participate in a very nosy social research questionnaire.
Yeah.
So I got to speak to about 70 men
In
So
those in that sauna.
in the sauna, yeah.
Oh wow.
And here, there. So I sat with them for about 45 minutes or an hour and heard, asked them, went through the questionnaire, which was very nosy. So I asked them about everything they did with their dick and their bum, and where they stuck it and how often they did it and what they did and what they didn't do and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so I got to speak to 70 different men that were frequenting those gay saunas, and an astounding amount of them didn't identify as being gay. An astounding amount. I want to say, so it was 50% in one sauna, I remember that. But there were 3
gay.
saunas that identified as being heterosexual.
Jeez, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is a lot. It was one particular sauna that kind of attracted an older, more mature crowd, but yeah, 50% of them identified as being heterosexual. So I found that pretty interesting, and so did the social scientists that I was working for. But it was just kind of a venue to go to for release.
True, yeah.
And something they did frequently or infrequently. I remember speaking to this corporate lawyer. He was really eloquent. He was in his 40s or 50s, and he said, "Oh, Michael, whoops." He said, "Oh, James," he said, "You're the first person I've spoken to about all that I do here," and I said, "Oh, that's fine. Everything you're telling me is completely confidential." And the very next morning, I had his response, like the questionnaire filled in, like all of his responses in my backpack, and I was walking to work, and I stopped off on my favourite cafe. And who should walk in with his wife and kids?
That one dude.
But that one dude. And I saw all of the colour drain from his, because he didn't think he'd ever see me again.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't acknowledge him and walked past him and left as quickly as I could. This guy was nearly having a stroke because of what he told me the day before, and there he was with his wife and young family.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yep.
It's always
People are complicated.
Yeah, I think it's always kind of weird when you see like the hookup, or not like in your instance, it wasn't a hookup, but you were just asking me questions.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, for gays and stuff, it's like kind of awkward if you like see a person that you hooked up with like out in the real world.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do I say to them? Like, do I say like hi or just go about my day, or whatever? Most times I usually I just look away. Like, oh shit! Yeah. So I'm just like, oh well, I'll just look away, and they'll do the hi. I'm like, nope, not doing this again. Yeah.
Should we leave it there for today?
Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Oh, well, I enjoyed this.
There'll be, there's a part 2 coming out of this. Whenever, we'll do the part 2 whenever, you're free and I'm free again.
We could try for Sunday. You're going to have to get that editing software and edit out my name, which I just blurted out.
Yeah. I'll,
question.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to, get lots of editing stuff. There's this, I think, a podcast app on the website, on Google that is solely for podcasts.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be too hard to
there'll be lots.
Set up. Yeah, there's also Audacity, which is only a voice type of thing. So you can if I were to record, I could just chop out certain parts.
Yep.
And then,
That's what you need.
yeah.
That's what you need. All right, my friend.
All
I
right.
will love you and leave you.
I hope
I'm
you
gonna
have
go
a good
coffee.
afternoon.
Thank you, buddy. You have a nice evening.
Thank you. We'll do.
Bye, Conrad.
Bye-bye. All right, people. That is part 1 of a podcast named James. Yeah, part 1. Part 2 will come out next time when I talk to him again. Either Sunday. Other than that, goodbye. Have a good day. Love you, peoples.